Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, May 9th. We're stretching out our recordings a little longer than normal. We're already on the Americas account and I'd be rather happy to be this far. I just need to do the Tavern Brawl and play some rogue cards and challenge a friend. And the most difficult thing that I may have to do offline is find a friend to challenge. But for the most part, what we're doing is, while doing this incredibly slow and boring Tavern Brawl, is going through all the news, and there's just so much left. So let's hop into it quickly. Next game we had on Steam is called Deep Dark Dungeon. It came out May 8th. It's from a developer who hasn't made anything else. It's 25% off for $7.49. I feel like Deep Dark Dungeon is a name that is very strategically picked to convince people to buy it when they look up Darkest Dungeon and just don't remember. But on the other hand, this isn't just a bait and switch scenario. It really isn't. Because it's rated positive with 84% of the 19 reviewers giving it a positive rating. It's an indie action RPG with local co-op and roguelike. It does have voxel-based graphics, so it looks a little bit like Roblox, although the voxels are pretty small, so it's more of an artistic style than a lack of attempt at detail, or slightly more an artistic style than a lack of an attempt at detail. Let's see, Divine Shield or Stealth. So it's a roguelike top-down dungeon crawler with 4 players, and it looks like they could be really fun. Interesting, it has an all-time peak of 10 players. Link single player local co-op. Apparently no online play. Says it's rated E10+. I doubt that's true. 21 achievements. Price is high. The recent update says termination of early access, which is a really weird way to phrase things. Like, you wouldn't want to use the phrase termination of early access. This was apparently a Steam Greenlight game. It seems rather strange that there would be any more Steam Greenlight games around, but I guess there just always will be. Let's look at the 6 negative reviews. None of them are in my language. Just a bunch of Asian character negative reviews. I can't really take anything from that. So we got the Tavern Brawl done. Are we gonna get any good cards? No, just a couple of rares. Almost certainly all of this is gonna be dusted. So let's go ahead and dust 4 of those. And then let's look at the new things, because one of them was golden. Since this is my Americas account, I have no reason to keep goldens. I'm instead going to dust them, and I was going to dust these too. Like, this really is the right move, I think. And see, now I could type in missing, and I doubt I'm missing too much of anything from, I think I only am missing about 16 legendaries from the classic part. Let's see. 1, 2, 6. 6 legendaries are missing. There's no classic missing. If I look at all standard cards, there's a lot of epics missing still, and I'm sure there's a ton of other things that are missing. But I guess the real question would be, do I want to go back to to Wild and try to have a complete collection of like every rare card and every common card, including wild ones. Like, because I could craft these certainly for 100. But I think what I'm gonna do is instead hold on to Dust and see if hsreplay.net can actually give me a better suggestion on what I should craft or what I should craft first. Alright. Let's see. Challenge a friend. Anybody? There we go. Challenge a friend. For me, Deep Dark Dungeon doesn't look like it's anything super interesting. I'm gonna just play a Murloc deck because I love Murloc decks. So I'm just gonna close Deep Dark Dungeon. There's been a lot of games that are similar to that. Let's see. We have the next game on Steam. It's a VR game called Humble Pie, and it's a Donald Trump president meme game. Dark Screenshot Syndrome. I think you're literally just throwing pies in the Oval Office at the president. I think that's exactly all this game is for 99 cents. At least they've got the price right. But it requires you to have a HTC Vive or Oculus Rift. And frankly, I don't recommend supporting these meme people because they're never going to create good video games. So giving your money to support people who are making, if not a fake game, at the very least a low quality, low effort game, like they're not gonna go from Humble Pie to Skyrim. That they're never gonna make anything ever again. Almost guarantee it. Let's move on. The next game we have, the Shanti Half Genie Hero Ultimate Edition, has come out on May 8th. Is I believe just an upgraded version of what they already had. Maybe you don't get the free upgrade. It's 10% off for $26.99. I want to play the Shanti series of games. But yeah, I haven't gotten around to playing them yet. I guess that's all I really need to say is the first review is not recommended, and it says this is a case where Steam needs a middle option of recommendation as there's some serious factors to consider. First and foremost, Shanti Half Genie Hero is still an excellent game and my personal favorite since 2016. It is a more stage-based experience than the previous outings, especially highlighted in the extra game modes. The problem is simply there's no reason for this to exist in this form, as it's basically the original game and a bunch of DLC for it. Nothing transfers between versions, there's no discount for existing owners, and there is actually less achievements for this than the original version. I need to play, not irritate my friends on Steam. The release also includes previously backer exclusive content and a blue swimsuit at the beach mode, the worst DLC mode in the game. This is essentially eats away at players who missed out on the Kickstarter and want the complete product. So where does this all go for a review? If you don't own the game, buy this one, ignore the other version. If you own the original version, especially already own some of its DLC, you should wait for a sale before justifying this to yourself. And there just is not enough here to warrant dropping $30 for a game previously owned. So yeah, this does feel like it's kind of a poor release. That there needed to be some kind of upgrade for WayForward to do that, and I think, I mean, you can't really claim ignorance that, like, that WayForward, the people who make Shanti, didn't know that that was exactly what was going to happen. I don't particularly hate WayForward for releasing the game, but they are kind of doing some deceptive repackaging in the video game world, and deceptive repackaging is not really even in the top 10 problems with video games, but it's slowly going to become a bigger issue. Let's see, hit this. See if we get the spell damage one. We don't. So we'll do this and hope we kill at least one of them. I guess we're going to kill at least one of them. Gematsu has an article, BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battles opening movie. Let's see. BlazBlue is the second tier fighting game that has some of the characters from Ruby, RWBY as DLC, and the BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battle is a lot of DLC for this fighting game. And yeah, the entire article is just to show off the movie. BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battle, if you're interested, comes on the PS4, Switch, PC on May 31st in Japan and Asia, and June 5th in North America, and the summer in Europe. Let's see. I think I probably would get BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battle when it's on sale, and like I'll wishlist it, but I am also, much like the Shanti Half Genie Hero Collection, Collector's Edition, Ultimate Edition is what it was called. You have to know what you're getting and what you aren't getting, and how much you're really going to end up investing when all the DLC is said and done. See, next game we have on Steam, let's look and see if this is in English. It is in English, simplified Chinese, traditional Chinese, and Japanese. So this is probably a Chinese game called Puzzle Sisters Forer, F-O-E-R. An interactive question and answer game. Everyone who can type can upload their own questions. Well, that's not going to work at all, because you're going to be left with very few questions for the English people, I'm sure, where the Chinese market will be much better suited of people typing in questions. And how do you confirm if the answers are right or not, or do you just put a bunch of fake questions in there? Regardless, there really isn't too much of a game here. They've got a attempt at a anime-esque girl as the host, but they've, in the screenshots alone, drawn this character in 5 different art styles, like completely different art styles. So there's no consistency there, and that's not good for creating a mascot, I suppose would be the right word. This game is early access for $1.99. I wouldn't pay that much. They're trying to make a game here, and I have to applaud what I assume is a Chinese company for, at the very least, trying and not putting out the worst garbage ever. But it's still really not good enough for $2, and it's really not going to catch people's attention worldwide. So let's move on. And the last card I can play is that, and I'm done. Next article we have Gematsu Code Realize Bouquet of Rainbows. Cinderella Palakai and Nil Admirari no Tinbin are coming to Switch. That's a big mouthful of a bunch of visual novels, I assume, are coming to Switch in Japan. Yeah, I assume these are romance visual novels. Let's see, more otome visual novels are coming to the Switch in Japan. There we go. We both got 80 gold. And that is good, because that means we can just move over to Rogue cards. Can I play a ranked standard Rogue game with pirates? Or, yes I can, so let's play that. PC Gamer has an article, Epic warns against a Fortnite Android beta scam. Emails inviting people to a Fortnite Android beta test is a phishing scam, so don't fall for that. How would they even get your email? Do you give your email when you make an Epic Fortnite account? Like, any kind of notification like that should go through a game, not through an email. Like, there should be a pop-up in the game saying, hey, would you like to join the beta and try this out? I am looking at one of my Twitter things, EVGA Gaming, and I'm going to mute them because they're really just advertising their own products. And speaking of products, the Founders Edition for the GeForce NVIDIA graphic cards are at their normal price, MSRP finally. It's really late in the production to buy into the idea of buying even a 1080 Founders Day Edition for MSRP, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna get... Well, if you bought it right now, by the time February 2019 happens, they're going to almost certainly announce a new video card. And you're going to probably kick yourself if you spent a significant amount of money on something that's only going to be top of line brand new. And it won't even be the top of line brand new ones, because it'll be the Founders Day Edition ones. So yeah, let's see if this game is in. Nope, sorry. Black Tea with the Moon is a Chinese only RPG indie game that, let's see, doesn't have any other tags, but the artistic style, I will say, almost looks like an artistic style. Very soft drawings. But no English language support, only Chinese, so yeah, that's another game to skip from me. Played this. Gematsu has an article, Sakuna of Rice and Ruin has a PS4 physical edition announced for Japan. I did have an interesting an interest on playing that game, Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. It's available for PS4 and PC in 2018. It'll be published by Exceed Games in North America. So still trying to keep an eye out on that. Let's look at this guy. I think it's just going to be easier just to mute this guy too on my Twitter. I gotta get more people muted so I can focus just on actual video game news. Let's play this. I think I'm supposed to be playing rogue cards, which would be this card. Or that card. Gematsu has an article. Hakouki Shinkai Fukuden is coming to the Switch September 6th in Japan. Let's see, this is what kind of game? It looks like a visual novel. It was originally released in the PS Vita. Yeah, it's a visual novel. So, another game that probably won't come to the West. Let's see, play this. We've got a game called Minute Time, that came out May 8th. It's the only game from this developer, 25% off for $5.99. Says it's an indie casual game. It looks like it has boxing and several other mini games. In fact, it seems like it is the combination of a bunch of mini games that maybe this is like WarioWare with 3D games. Well, that would be interesting. Minute Mime is a fast-paced, challenging, fun collection of different mini games. Everything from abducting a cow to flipping a pancake. It has something for everyone. Theme chapters, endless mode, and custom mode awaits you. So this is just WarioWare, and that concept of WarioWare hasn't been stolen enough, honestly. So I cannot disagree or complain. Let's see. Do 1 damage for each armor you have. So 25% off for $5.99. It's only 1 achievement. Right now, apparently they're saying this is a limited edition too, where only 5,000 copies will be sold. After that, the game will be updated to standard edition and the exclusive achievement will be removed. Well, if the achievement is actually removed, I think they probably mean that it'll stay but be unaccessible, unachievable. Let's see. Just go ahead and play cards while we're at it, just to free up my hand. Well, I don't care one bit about the achievements. There are 2 positive reviews. I'm gonna put this game in my wish list. I suppose if people wanted to try to gift me this game, it's MINITIME before the limited edition ended, I'd be fine with that, but whatever. It's probably too little too late. There's an all-time peak of 1 person playing it, but it's only single player anyways. I'm going to keep an eye on this game. This could be a bunch of BS, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like it really is WarioWare. It's probably not got a ton of mini games, and one of the things about WarioWare is you could get pretty bored of it rather fast if you're not let's play this. If you're not playing newer versions of WarioWare, if you're not getting that extra variety, I could see people getting bored with it. So we already talked about that. Did we talk about the Sage of Twilight? wasn't this a Chinese only game? Yes, we did. Hey, there's a chance here that maybe these games, I've already talked about all of them. Next game we have on Steam is called Deep Space Platformer. It looks like an 8-bit platformer game. 35% off for $3.24. Let's see. 3 positive reviews, no negative reviews. Like, I'm rushing through this game because I can already tell it's like it's not gonna be interesting. Do I need to play anything more? Let's just go ahead and play this so we play the cards. The developer of Deep Space, a space platformer, has made a handful of other games, but looking at these graphics, it's very tile-based, very 8-bit graphics. It's just not anything that is visually appealing, so like I'm gonna just say no to that. Let's see. Game Master has an article. Capcom releases 2 major titles by March 31st. And Monster Hunter World shipments have topped 8 million. Monster Hunter World has gotten them a lot of money. Let's see. So we don't know what those 2 major titles are going to be from Capcom, or what they even particularly consider a major title. So it is possible that to them a major title is actually a lot less than what most people would consider a major title. There's really nothing more to that article. We already talked about it, but the free Steam Link app for Android and iOS makes your Steam library mobile, sort of. And for the most part, you're going to be streaming inside your own house. Maybe you could make it with a 5G wireless router to maybe you could stream to slightly outside your house, but you're not streaming over the internet. Yeah, you're not playing a PC game on your cell phone or tablet, and your mileage is going to vary drastically. And I think most games, to be fair, that would have been rather good for something like the ability to stream, probably already have mobile versions of themselves. Like Hearthstone's a great example. It's not on Steam, but there's already a cell phone version of Hearthstone. And a lot of, as somebody who streams and plays games on a TV that's about 10 feet away, a lot of games don't work too well when you're not looking directly at them on a big monitor. Like the text just becomes difficult to read. Moving on, PC Gamer has an article. DayZ creative director Brian Hicks is leaving Bohemia Interactive. Hicks says he's, quote, no longer needed. That's I'm sure just another indication that DayZ is not going anywhere and nobody's really interested in playing DayZ anymore. Maybe he'll move on to some other place where like if he moves on to a place where he's better used, I guess would be the right term. Like that would be nice. Like maybe he'll go on to make something better. Brian Hicks, we'll keep an eye out for him, I'm sure. Let's see. One more win and I'll get the season chest. I'm not sure if I've gotten the season chest for any of the other accounts, so that would be something to do if we still have news to talk about. Game Sutra article says Sony updates its warranty terms following the FTC warning. This, for the most part, says that the warranty stickers are not valid, and you cannot have stickers on your device that say warranties void if removed. Of course, those stickers are actually still going to be there, and at least for all the old PlayStations and such. But new things, I assume, won't have the stickers, because then that would probably be just downright fraud. And the terms of service hidden is going to say that yes, your warranty is not void. Let's see the exact quote here. Is that they were told to remove language that implicitly states or implies that warranty coverage is conditioned on the use of specific parts or services. I imagine is what they meant to write, but they wrote of. The warranty void if removed label on all their products, according to FTC, violates the what is called the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, which gives consumers the right to use non-first-party parts in its repairs. To reflect this, Sony changed its language used to describe it. Its warranties, it says, quote, "Our previous warranty stated that the warranty does not apply if the warranty seal on the product has been altered or removed," reads the other major change. Our updated warranty states that the warranty does not apply to damage caused by opening the product or to damage caused by service performed by someone other than a representative of Sony Interactive Entertainment or a Sony Interactive Entertainment authorized service provider. So it seems like they can still get away, or at least they think they can still get away with quite a lot. Lastly, Sony has included a clause that guarantees free return shipping for in-warranty consoles, as well as repaired and factory recertified consoles in the US and Canada. This applies to all products that Sony supports, including the PS4, PS3, PS Vita, PSVR. The update warranty also covers products bought before the change. But they still apparently can draw some lines and say, look, if you take this apart and you break it, we're not going to be held responsible. Meanwhile, Apple is certainly doing a much worse job supporting their own products. Moving on, Your Gamer has an article. Ubisoft's VR Star Trek game is getting the next generation themed expansion, coming to the PS4 in May and PC in July. And you'll get the bridge, Star Trek Bridge Crew, the next generation will give you the appearance of the next generation ship, which certainly that would be what I would want. It's going to cost £11.99, or roughly about $25 if I was to guess, depending on what the pound is worth these days. So yeah, the problem with Star Trek Bridge Crew, as I understand it, is it's only VR. When that is a game that is just screaming to let your friends play on PC without the VR stuff. And it's really not hard, in my opinion, to convert a VR game to a non-VR game. Maybe your experience won't be the best, but it shouldn't be impossible. 2, 4, 6, and we'll go and play this. Let's see. There's also going to be a resistance mode added to the Bridge Crew that's where you fight prototype Borg cubes or anti-Borg prototypes. Interesting. So they're putting more game into it. Again, please make that so it doesn't require VR. Let's play this. Keep on playing. Gematsu has an interesting article that I did not see this coming. I guess Blade Strangers is coming from the same company, Nicholas, as the creator or publisher of The Binding of Isaac. So this game, Blade Strangers, which is kind of like a Super Smash Bros. Game as far as I understand it, has decided to add Isaac from The Binding of Isaac, and they animate him with a very big head and rather tall. On top of Isaac joining up, there's also characters from Cave Story, Code of Princess EX, Uhara Kawase series, and basically just 2 all new characters. So, like, it's still, even for a Smash Brothers game, kind of an odd choice. But it probably, on the other hand, it'll get them a lot more attention than they would have gotten without it. So now I'm a lot more interested in playing Blade Strangers than I was before. Let's go and end that turn. So, yeah. Next game we have on Steam is called VR Darts. We've seen many attempts at some of these games, and none of them have been great. It's $14.99, no discount. The only game from this developer. Let's see. I just don't see a reason to play darts in VR, short of the fact that you don't put holes in your wall when you play darts. But just have a post outside, stick your dartboard in your garage, you know, put some holes in the wall in the garage, nobody cares. Put some cork board up and don't miss that much and you're fine. And use the little plastic dartboards and darts instead of real darts, and you're a lot better too. There's nothing wrong with this game, VR Darts. It seems like it looks like it might work, but it's $15, and I think at that price nobody's gonna bother to try it. The one recommended review of this, the one positive review of this game seems to be something that I need to flag. How do you flag a review? Let's see. Was this helpful? No. Funny? No. What is the flag? Person. How do you flag a person on Steam at all? Interesting. Like, I'm clicking on the guy's name and it doesn't do anything. Let's see. Ah, here. Flag. And then it wants me to type in the reason. So, yeah, I'm not gonna actually flag him, but probably should. But as for the game, VR Dart's too expensive. Too expensive to spend that time on. Spend that money on. This. Okay. Kill this one. Kill this one. End the turn. Still got a ton of stuff. Next game we have is called Super Punch Man. It's from a studio who's made several other games, but none of them have been rated well. It's $1.69 at 15% off. Looks like a cheap asset flip of a top-down shooter shooting at dinosaurs. Action adventure indie casual, it says it is. I don't get the name Super Punch Man. Nobody's reviewed it. Yeah, it's just doesn't look good quality. Moving on. Let's see. How did I survive? Let's take control of something. Steal some cards. Steal some more cards. Attack in the turn. Gosh, too much news. I already talked about that. Maybe we'll start running into a bunch of duplicate things. Next game we have on Steam is called Cheese Maze. It's from a developer who's made a handful of other games, but none rated highly or rated at all. Let's see, this looks like a mobile game in which you play a mouse from top-down perspective in basically an acid flip dungeon to get the maze. Seems like maybe you switch the maze around as the mouse is moving to help the mouse, and maybe you don't even control the mouse. Okay. Let's take a moment. We've done everything, so I'm gonna switch back to the European account and try to play some ranked play while we still have a lot to do. A lot of news to cover. Getting that ranked play before the end of the month and making sure we've done that is a good move. Yeah, this Cheese Maze map, it has only 35 levels, or over 35 levels is what it says. Let's see. Apparently we've gotten five here too. So let's go over to the Asian account and see if we've gotten 5 ranked plays here. Yeah, there's nothing here that looks good. And there's no reviews, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip that. PC Gamer says a retailer might have just accidentally confirmed a new Splinter Cell, Rage 2, and Borderlands 3, and more. You have to take all of these rumors with a grain of salt. I'm just gonna play rank play on the Asian account, I guess. Not that it really even matters. Ranked play on mid-range hunter. Let's go. An errant listing for new games may have blown some E3 surprises. So basically, this is an advertisement that is from Walmart, Walmart California listing, and it's just a bunch of pictures of what look like Xbox and Blu-ray things, games, but the cover art is black and it's just a basic white font on the front of them. So any idiot could have photoshopped this at all. And frankly, maybe somebody at that Walmart did Photoshop it just as a placeholder. The listing, let's see. It includes Just Cause 4, Splinter Cell, Dragon Quest II for the PS4 and Xbox One, Lego DC Villains, Borderlands 3, Rage 2, Gears of War 5, Forza Horizon 5, and Assassin's Creed. And I seriously doubt that there is a Rage 2, and I kind of doubt that Borderlands 3 is ready to be sold. Like, I don't really believe that it's as close to being done as people have been talked about. And the idea that there would be a Rage 2 is insane. Totally and completely insane. It's a little crazy to even say that there would be I guess it's Walmart Canada that's leaking, that has it on their page. And the link actually does take you to something that looks like a Walmart website. This might be trickery or just stupid placeholder stuff. Like, let's go and end the turn there. If there was a Rage 2, that'd be really cool. If Borderlands 3 comes out, that's great. Although I haven't gotten around to playing Borderlands 2 yet. I may very well wait until after the Halloween month and then play Borderlands 2 between the month after Halloween and October and the end of the year. That might be the way to do it. Let's see. Next game we have on Steam is called Spirits of Metropolis Legacy Edition. It says it's a strategy indie casual puzzle match 3 game. It looks kind of like Candy Crush. It says it has 120 levels. It's from a developer who made Cook Service Delicious. That's an interesting choice. Let's see. Strange that they would be releasing a game. Well, they said actually this came out on March 24th, 2009, so they're releasing an old game, I guess, that they had made. $3.99 is really expensive. So I guess this is just them filling out the Vertigo Gaming bundle and saying, here's an old game we made. There's no reviews for it. And even if you didn't make one game that caught people's attention, like Cook Serve Delicious, that doesn't inherently mean that people need to buy every other old game that you released up until that point. Vertigo Games, I suppose, is in the second phase of a indie or double A game developer, where most of the games we see on Steam are companies that are in the first phase or probably a zero phase of their life, in which they're just going to release one bad game and disappear. On the other hand, like Vertigo did get some success after many attempts, and they put their effort into it. And because of that, now maybe some of their older games will enjoy some sales. However, the Spirit of Metropolis Legacy Edition doesn't strike me as something worth really playing. They also, Vertigo Games released one of their old games that came out January 15th, 2010, called The Sandbox of God Remastered Edition. This looks like a early 90s game. It looks really bad. They want $3.99 for that. And no thank you. I already talked about that probably twice. Let's see. Immune while attacking. Divine Shield. Next game we have is called District 112 Incident, the Bowling Alley. It's from... Somebody's made a lot of neutral and negative games. Quite a lot. 20 or 30 games. This is just a bowling game, it looks like, with typos or non-English language. Let's see. Early access. Why do you need early access for a bowling game? 40% off for 59 cents. And no reviews. Like, you can find better bowling games on Steam. And arguably, there is a sale that's going on with GameStop in the United States, where you can get a pre-owned Nintendo Wii with 3 games and everything you would need to know to play it. And one of the games is Wii Sports. One of the games, I believe, is Mario Galaxy, and then I think the other one might be Mario Kart or something. So you're getting a decent collection of used games and a used console for $60. If you just want to play bowling, the Wii Sports Bowling is still probably one of the best games for the Wii. Next game we have is called Castle Wars VR. It's the only game from this developer with no discount for $9.99. The graphics don't look terrible. They're not hyper realistic 3D graphics. But why are you playing a game like this in VR? Because it is a... seems like a... they're calling it a massive multiplayer, but it to me looks like a tower defense game. So that seems like some slight disconnect there. Let's see. We'll do this and this, and then the turn. Says there's a 36 mission campaign during 6 hours of VR gameplay, plus quick match multiplayer sessions. Let's see. The first review is not recommended. Gameplay amounts to purchasing units with slowly accumulating gold and placing them into a portal to spawn out of one of the available lanes. Units march down the lanes and fight the enemies they run into if they get into it. This is a fine premise, and I could see a great game being made off the base, but this one isn't it. So it's basically Dota. It's a VR Dota game. Yeah. Okay. I don't still understand why you made it in VR. Alright, we play this. Get 3 cards for free. That seems good. 2. There we go. Next game we have on Steam is called Shrug Island, The Meeting. It's from a company called Tiny Red Comment. It's $9.99. It doesn't have anything else they've released. There we go. We're working our way up the ranked play. This has a very interesting flat. I would say this is a... I want to say it's like a Norwegian animation style. It feels like it's a European art style of some kind. Feels like it's a point-and-click adventure game. Maybe focused towards kids, maybe not. Every single trailer and scene I'm seeing is interesting. Looks like it's a hand-painted type experience. It's like this certainly is a game that's caught my attention. I have no idea what it is, but it's different, and it's $10, so I'll put it on the wish list and see if it goes on sale, particularly because I have a slight concern that it's the beginning of a series that may never finish. There's a not recommended. I'm sure the devs' artistic visions were made well. This is a point-and-click adventure that had no tags before I purchased it. I was tricked, I feel. There's only one option resolution, no VSync. The game runs at 445 frames per second for me. I doubt your monitor can do 445 frames per second, so you're getting limited above that. The animation looks to be at 12 frames per second. Well, that seems about right for hand animation. So I'm not sure why the game needs to run without frame lock. Most of the time you're looking at still images on the screen with GIF quality loop animations on the sides. It's very slow paced. Things take forever to resolve, and again, at a blistering 445 frames per second. Not for me. I despise being tricked into thinking a game is more than what it appears. That is one of those rare negative reviews that doesn't turn me off, because I could tell that this was going to be a slow, weird, first-person point-and-click adventure game from the beginning. And honestly, it still doesn't have point-and-click adventure in the name as far as the tags. So, but Shrug Island, The Meeting, certainly catches my attention, so I'm gonna greenlist that. Next game we have is called Green Tech Plus Legacy Edition, which says it's a strategy action indie casual game maker game. What is this? It looks like it's kind of a mobile game with very little game in here. This came out in June 21st, 2010 by Vertigo Games again. So it's Vertigo Games just releasing every single game that they had made before on Steam. So maybe they just got the license back to their own properties, which, if that is what happened, good for them, I suppose. But like the other games that they've released before, it does not look interesting. Next game we have is called Shell Blast Legacy Edition, also from Vertigo Games, and I think we can pretty much see a pattern here that none of these games are going to be interesting. $3.99 seems to be the price for all of them. So moving on. Let's see. We do this. And then this. And then end the turn. Gamasutra has an article, 7 greatest examples of foreshadowing in games that devs should study. The first reference is Alice Madness Returns. I'm not going to read all of this. The second one is Virginia, which I suppose... I didn't even know there was a twist in Virginia. The Silent Hill series, especially 2 and 4. Red Dead Redemption. Shenmue 2, Portal, The Legend of Zelda series. This is an article I think I'd have to read a little bit further to figure out what they're really talking about, because it seems like they mostly just wanted to talk about foreshadowing or games that they loved that they felt had good foreshadowing. It feels like one of those articles where you've thought of the title, but you haven't thought of any of the supporting facts first. Because that is a rather weird combination of games. Let's see. Next game we have on Steam is called Cave Digger. Let's see, can we protect myself a little bit? I'm gonna lose here. Let's see, it's a action free-to-play indie casual game. The animation looks pretty good, but is this VR? Yeah, it's a virtual reality mining game for the Vive and Oculus Rift. Better than the Shopkeeper VR game, but we're getting far, far too many VR games right now. This is a free-to-play VR game, so I guess you can't really complain about the price. It has 9 achievements. Let's see. Does it have any negative reviews? It's kind of hard to suspect it would. No. 6 positive reviews. They say that one recommended review says 30 minutes of fun for free. Nice ideas. Space gets rare really quick. So yeah. But again, why would I want to play a VR game where I'm mining or doing a job? All of these concepts of VR games are job related, not fantasy fulfillment related at all. Next game we have is Land Wars. Came out May 9th, 2018. It's from a publisher who hasn't done anything else. It's 10% off for $3.59. It looks like it might be something interesting. It says action and violent. And that's all I can see. And there's so many trailers here. Is this a first-person shooter? Is this a walking simulator? Show me some actual gameplay. I think this is actually a asset flip that they filled with a bunch of trailers of, I assume, stolen trailers. Because now that I'm looking at the real screenshots, I'm just seeing a bunch of people running around, shooting each other on some very featureless beaches. And a bunch of menus that don't seem necessary. A poor heads-up display. Yeah, this is just a first-person shooter multiplayer game. No single-player experience. Let's see if we've got any reviews on it. Let's see, stay away. First not recommended review says stay away, then a YouTube link. The developer Land Studio had this epic idea that the game should only be in French. Yes, we know the whole world speaks French except for the 7.3 billion that don't. After using Google Translate for half an hour, I managed to figure out what it said. It doesn't even work correct. It did not work. Error messages about using YRD as a password in a file that didn't exist on my computer. Wow. And that's the only review, is one negative one. Yeah, this is a complete like farce of a game. I could see tricking a lot of people because there's clearly some stolen videos. Like, I mean, I can't prove it, but these videos seem like demo videos playing from that have nothing to do with what the final product looks like. Anyways, we don't have time to investigate shenanigans happening on Steam, because that's always happening. Speaking of shenanigans on Steam, PC Gamer has an article. Acram Digital Games have been removed from Steam for review manipulation. That's ACRAM. All of the indie publishers' digital board games are no longer for sale. Let's see if this... Acram had 2 games on Steam, 8 Minute Empire and Rails to Riches. Both adaptations of well-regarded board games. Frustrated with negative reviews, it appears that a member of Acram's staff, Grzegor Kubayas, a Russian person, sounds like, took it upon himself to post multiple positive reviews for their games. Yeah, they'll always throw the member of staff under the bus. Per Valve's announcement, existing owners will still have access to the removed games. All of Acram's titles are still available via other platforms, but it's unlikely they will see a return to Steam anytime soon. Valve's statement is quite clear that we have removed all games DLC developed by Acram from our store and will no longer be doing business with them. Acram was due to publish a digital version of the popular Rudgar Dorn economic strategy board game Istanbul later this year. Kubis posted a statement on Reddit saying he was very sorry for what he did and asking players to blame himself and not the developers of the game. It was a stupid action, not something planned. This was my individual bad behavior, not the team, so I would like to blame me, not the developers. And I'm sure that could have been the case, but I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt they're just having somebody fall on their sword. There's a ton of other bad games on Steam that need to be kicked off. It's nice to see Valve take actions every now and then, but meanwhile there's like a lot of fake games still getting released every day, and if somebody was just doing what I do and looking at what's on Steam Twitter feed and just looking at every game that's submitted through Steam Greenlight, you could clearly see a pattern of poor quality, low quality fake games getting released, and just on the face of it flag some of these games and start reviewing them. Well, I finally got the Lost Child gameplay trailer came out, and Lost Child is this weird sort of sequel to a completely different type of game called what was it called? I don't even remember. Something Elohim. It was something Shadow of the Metatron. Enoch, Shadow of the Metatron, I believe was the name of the game. And this is supposed to be a spiritual successor to it, but looking at the gameplay for the Lost Child, it is a dungeon crawler with terrible graphics, and it seems really ridiculous, like, that you'd have such a drastic change in gameplay styles and try to have the same game and the same story. Moving on, Gamasutra has an article. JAGEX, that's JGEX, lays plans to shut down its decade-old game portal FunOrb, FUNORB. I've never heard of FunOrb, but I suppose if you were playing casual games on FunOrb, you're you should consider migrating away from them. I suppose this is the only thing you can really do. Let's see. They said, quote, "We will be winding down over the next 3 months, and starting today they'll be no longer accepting new FunOrb subscribers or charging existing ones, though their members' benefits will persist until the platform shuts down 3 months from now." This might be due to the European laws of privacy, the new European privacy laws, but I imagine it probably is just due to them not wanting to just go any further with it. Gamasutra has another article. EA experiences growth in revenue from digital downloads and live services. No surprise there. The Sims, Battlefield, EA Sports franchises, FIFA 18, Madden, NFL 18. So Electronic Arts still making a lot of money on games as services instead of actual games. So, can I get one more damage done to this guy? Yes, I can. Rock Paper Shotgun talks about Steins Gate Zero launching on Steam and maybe PS4. Let me scroll down and see. Steins Gate Zero being a visual novel of the bad timeline of a Steins Gate anime or something. Or maybe it was a manga first. Maybe it was a book. Light novel. Who knows? I don't follow any of that close enough. Apparently you can watch Steins Gate Zero, the animation, on Crunchyroll. Steins Gate Zero is out on Steam for $35. Or can be bought at a slight discounted bundle with the original, where Steins Gate is right now $29.99, which Steins Gate would be, I suppose, the good timeline, assuming you played the visual novel correctly and got the good ending. I don't know if that's really even the right way to describe something like that for visual novels, though. Let's see. Next game we have is one called Subaria, and it came out September 22nd, 2015. It's Subaeria. It's the only game from this developer. It's 15% off for $11.04. It says it's an action-adventure indie. Why did this game get re-mentioned? Doesn't look bad. I still feel like I'm missing some games, even though I'm trying my very best to see every game that comes out. I feel like I'm missing a few, and sometimes it's the really good ones I'm missing, so that probably means I'm missing a lot of the bad ones too, which, who cares about the bad ones, but if I'm missing some good ones. Let's see. Oh, I guess Subaria came out of early access. Let's look at the reviews. There's 2 user reviews. Wait, one is negative. In early access, September 20th, it was roguelike gameplay with glitches and a decent storyline. Let's see. The story and random generated maps create the atmosphere that gives you a Bioshock feeling in your stomach. I don't see a Bioshock comparison really here to this game. Alright, maybe a little, but not too much. I think I'm gonna wishlist this game and check it out. It has an all-time peak of 17 players, so Subaria, S-U-B-A-E-R-I-A, is a game that I think deserves a second chance. Now it's out of early access. Hopefully it's not out of early access because they've just decided to do nothing with it. I'm gonna hold on to that one. Let's see. Gamasutra has an article. Capcom sees improving profits from sales of Monster Hunter World. I think we probably already talked about that, but yes, Capcom is making some money for the few games they're actually releasing. Remember, Capcom has quite a few licenses for games that they could be releasing new versions on, and they aren't. Let's do this, and then play this, and then do this. And we'll move on. PC Gamer has an article. Stephen Fry has a cameo in Destiny 2 Warmind. I thought, yeah, wasn't the last thing I heard about Stephen Fry is that he had gotten like prostate cancer and then they were treating it. I guess that doesn't have much to do with anything. Frankly, I again would argue that Stephen Fry is probably not the best person to hire to have as a voice actor, and Destiny has already made that mistake a few times where they've hired famous actors to be voice actors instead of hiring a qualified video game voice actor who can put some other content or inflection in their voice acting, can do the different type of works. Anyways, moving on. Let's see. Gamasutra has an article. Google Play Instant leaves closed beta, now open to all developers. The new feature lets Google Play users instantly play selected titles direct from the digital marketplace, meaning players can jump into action without having to wait for a lengthy download, which I suppose that's the equivalent of what some of the PC, the Xbox Ones and the PlayStation 3 attempted to do with their instant play options. Of course, that got gamed a lot and never really worked the way it was supposed to. Maybe it'll work better on Google Play Instant. Next game we have on Steam is called Hellbound Survival Mode. It's from a studio that's made a mixed collection of games and DLC at best. Early access, free to play, indie with gore and violence. Looks kind of like a Quake Doom game. I'd say it's more of a Quake arena game with a lot of Doom influences. The menu in particular. So it doesn't look terrible. It has an all-time peak of 101 players and came out May 9th. The fact is, free to play. Apparently it's a Kickstarter. that they do at the very least recognize that this game is very much like Doom and Doom 2. I don't see anything really wrong with it. It has like 38 positive reviews and no negative reviews. Let's see. This. Kill this guy. I'll keep an eye on this Hellbound survival mode. It really needs and implies that there's some other game called Hellbound from this developer. Yes, there is. And this is a classic first-person shooting style game that's going to come out in 2018. So I kind of agree with that idea of making a survival Quake Arena game to beta what you're going to eventually make into a first-person single-player game, because that helps you work on AI bots, it helps you work on animations, and it helps you get some attention. So there is this game called Hellbound, and I'm gonna, instead of wishlisting the survival mode, I'm gonna wishlist the main game when it comes out. It says it's a 90s first-person shooter 20 years later, and that certainly seems correct. Alright. This, and this. And I'm gonna lose, so I might as well just play. Kamasutra has a article, Night Cry for the PS Vita launches in 2018. So Night Cry is a horror game that's coming out in Japan only, I'm sure, part of the Clock Tower series. It was originally crowdfunded in 2015 with the intention of releasing for PC, smartphones, and Vitas, but following the PC launch in 2016, the smartphone and Vita versions were never released. So it already has come out on PC. Let's look at its Steam page. Yeah, it's come out, but it's got a mixed reviews, about 50%. But it is historically accurate too, so I think I've got a wishlist Night Cry. But that doesn't mean I recommend other people do the same. Do this to draw a card. Here. Here. Move. Let's see. Gematsu has a different article. Japanese horror adventure game Angels of Death coming to the Switch this summer. RPG Maker VX developed title getting console release. So it's an RPG Maker coming out on the Switch, and that doesn't seem like a great thing. It's also already on Steam and rated very positively. Oh, I guess I have to wishlist an RPG Maker game, but I'm almost certainly never gonna buy it. Like, it does not look good, and that visual appeal, I really need that. I need a game to look good. PC Gamer has an article. The Night in the Woods developers slams crunch work culture. People are going to die. The quote, people are going to die. The reason we're killing ourselves isn't because we love what we're doing. I mean, you really can't argue with that comment at all. Like, there's really no good arguments. And programmers around the world, perhaps not just programmers in video game, but video game developers around the world probably need to unionize, and not just in one country, like all around the world, so you can't, so that they can get more realistic work times. And frankly, I think we'd all be happier if more time was spent slower making a good game instead of crunching to fix a game that's being rushed out the door. Like, it doesn't make the games better. It doesn't make the games cheaper. It doesn't do anything except for abuse your employees. But I don't want to get into a rant about that because we are still going through news. And it's been about 2 hours now. Let's see. Your Gamer says Pro Evolution Soccer 2019 is officially announced. And Coutinho, Coutinho, is the cover star. Neither are still in the Champions League, apparently. So I don't follow soccer, so I have no idea what any of that is I just said. But I think it's basically there's been several changes made. Rock, Paper, Shotgun. Overwatch's Dr. Mercy goes pink for charity. I'm hoping this is not the Susan B. Komen breast cancer scam with the pink ribbons, because that none of that money ever goes to anything other than breast cancer awareness, and everybody is aware that breast cancer exists. Let's see, this is going to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. The mission of the Breast Cancer Research Foundation is to prevent and cure breast cancer by advocating the world's most promising research. Which inherently, I think, probably means they're not let's see. They're probably just advocating for research and not actually funding research. But let's see. If we can go to Charity Runner, or is it Charity Raider? Charity Navigator. That's it. CharityNavigator.org. And enter a charity name. Let's see. And I guess I have to search here. Alright. I'm gonna have to zoom in to read this. While we're doing that, let's also play Hearthstone. That Charity Navigator is asking for donations, which they're a charity, I suppose. Breast Cancer Research Foundation is a 91.616. 4 out of, I guess, 4 stars? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Less than 3% goes to administrative expenses. 7.1% goes to but it says 90.1% of all funds go to the program's expenses, but I suppose that you could take that in a different way. Well, I'm not going to dive too deep in here. It seems like the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, if it's rated 91.16 out of 100, which is, I assume, what that means, then it is a highly rated one. If let's compare it to the Susan B. Komen scam. Let's see, there's too many Susan charities just to type in Susan B. Cool. Come on. There's too many Susan B's. I may be calling it the wrong name. Let's see. Yeah, I'm wasting too much time on this research that doesn't even matter. Oh, it's the Susan G. Komen for the cure. That's a big old scam, and it's rated 81.1% and 3 stars. For comparison, that was a lot of research for a kind of pointless reason. Apologies for wasting everybody's time there. I guess I really did want to know. Moving on. Let's see. We've got a game called Wars Across the World Russian Battles. It's from a developer who's made a lot of DLC for Wars Across the World at $5 a pop, where the main game is mixed review at 66% positive. Nobody has played it. It came out May 9th, no user reviews, and it's $9.99. Well, this doesn't seem like it's as much a fake game as it is just kind of a bad war simulator game when there's way too many of those on Steam already. Next game we have is called Woodstock 1969, from a developer who's made mostly what looks like cheap visual novel anime sex games. And this one is the same. It says it has sexual content, adventure, indie, casual, and nudity. And like the animation does not look good. And like it is anime characters at Woodstock. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. All-time peak of 2 people have played this game. 1,158 achievements, so we know what this is. Really, it's an achievement game. $1.99. Let's see. So, yes, a garbage, low effort game. It's not worth playing. Let's see. Game Master has an article. 3D animation novel The Midnight Sanctuary is coming to PS4, Switch, and PC this summer. So, apparently the demo is already on Steam. So we'll hope that comes out on English. It has a very flat animation style that I'm not sure I'd want. The demo is in English and Japanese, so I assume that the main game is also going to be interesting that the demo is on Steam, but there is actually no point where you can there's no point to wishlist the main game. Gonna kill that one and kill that one. Need to hurry up and finish the stream. Come in clean on Friday if we can. Otherwise I'm never gonna catch up. I'm gonna spend too much time on the weekend doing nothing. Let's see. The 4-player local multiplayer game Battloon, Battloon, is coming to Switch and PC in 2019. This is a Gematsu article, so I suspect it may not come to the West. Graphics certainly don't look great. They look very retro, very NES style. We'll see if it comes to the West or not. A game like that, good chance that they just won't spend the money to translate it to English. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna bother trying to pronounce this game. There's a game that's EEP space TSM space Gothenhardbahn space Norddrampe module Erstfield, which is a train simulator of some sort. It looks pretty good. It says it's in English. I don't believe it. It has an all-time peak of 2. It's $18.74 with 25% off and no reviews. Let's move on quickly because there's too many train simulator games on Steam also. Draw some more cards. Go ahead. I had no reason to do that. Gematsu has a new Haku key, Hakuuki title, and more Idea Factory Otome novels are coming to the Switch. I think we've already talked about this, so a bunch of visual novels are coming to the Switch. We'll see if they come to the West. Next game we have on Steam is called Ghost Mountain Roller Coaster. Is this a VR game? Because if it isn't, yes it is. It's a VR game for $2.99. It's not terrible looking. It looks like you're in a cartoony roller coaster going through a mine. It's from a developer who's made a couple other games that don't have any reviews either. Yeah, can't say anything wrong with Ghost Mountain Roller Coaster. It seems like it's a relatively cheap VR experience. That's pretty much all you can expect from VR games. Shiny Shoe is hiring a project manager. I think we've already talked about this. It'd be in San Francisco, California. Gamma Sutra has the article. You could certainly search it. The opening movie for Saga Scarlet Grace for PS4, Switch, and PC and smartphones is out. I think we pretty much already determined that Saga was going to be a dungeon crawler RPG game, not of any real interest. The opening movie looks nothing like what I think the rest of the game looks like. Let's see. The name is interesting, but that's kind of all it is. Japanese are very good at creating interesting names and then putting pretty bland dungeon crawlers on it. We've got another fake game from the #1 fake game creator on Steam, and they're still not getting flagged and still not getting kicked off. That's what's so crazy about Valve kicking off somebody for vote manipulation out on 2 games, but meanwhile you can create fake game after fake game and put it on Steam. Like, maybe they're intentionally just hiding all of these games from people and taking money away from them. But then that may be a bad idea too, because you may be taking money from somebody who's just laundering money. Anyways, moving on. Next game we have is called Ocean Wonder VR. It's only game from this developer, 30% off for $6.99. They're trying to hurry here. Requires VR headsets. What can I say about this one? It looks like you're kind of playing Finding Nemo in VR more than you're actually looking at a real ocean. Yeah, there's a mermaid that you apparently look at, and it doesn't look like it's, yeah, this is fictional, like, fantasy underwater experiences, not a realistic underwater experience. Somewhat like yellow dolphins, a octopus with a crown on its head. So you collect different fish species and save the ocean from contamination, make friends with the mermaids. Yeah, it seems like this is an attempt at a kid-friendly Oculus game, but I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Since it's VR, I guess it doesn't matter. Play this. And then end the turn. Next game we have is called Maze Madness, which any game called Maze Madness is not going to be that good, you can pretty much guess. It's $9.99. It looks like it's just an asset flip. Where, to be fair, they have gone down a slightly creative route in making an asset flip instead into a maze, instead of just making big open world ugly expanses. But it doesn't really change too much or help. Yeah. Let's see, is there any reviews for this game? There's one positive review, but I am highly suspicious of it. I wonder if some of these YouTubers who put their links to their videos think that they are going to get more impressions and their review will show up more if they write a positive review versus a negative review. PC Gamer has an article called "What is Windows Service Host Superfetch and How Do You Fix It?" I'm not sure you really need to fix it, but I'm going to look at that in case the latest Lego game does not run, and see if maybe that is part of the problem. I doubt it. Let's see. Worm's creator Team 17 has confirmed plans to go public, according to Gamasutra. They're going to be listing to around 200 million to around 280 million US dollars. And hopefully that's a good thing, but who knows if it is. What is this? Next game we have is called Puzzgun, Puzzgun. It says it's an indie puzzle pixel graphics with action and casual. Is it like a portal gun? Sort of, I think. It seems a little bit tile-based, Terraria-looking puzzle game. It looks a little bit like a mobile. Anytime I see a menu with a bunch of puzzles on it, That feels like a mobile game to me. Let's see. All-time peak of 2 players. It's 30% off for $4.19 for Puzzgun. Doesn't say how many puzzles there actually are in it. There's one positive review, which I'm highly suspicious of. Like, I highly suspect there's a lot of review manipulation, so if Valve caught somebody, it must have been an open and shut case. Like, undeniably, obviously. Eurogamer has an article. Epic has already nerfed the Thanos in Fortnite. Thanos is playable, sort of, in Fortnite right now. There we go. There's a game called Gulman 5, Gulman, a single player first person shooter. What's funny, in the description of this game, it says it's developed by one person, and then the developer's name is completely different. So what happened there? Like, either you stole this game and then credited the game to the person you stole it, or you've just failed. This is just an asset flip game. They're just putting a name to it to try and make it seem like it has some kind of esteem. It's English Russian, $5.99. I bet there's no reviews. Yep, no reviews. Nobody's gonna pay any money. All-time peak of 5 people, maybe 6. Yep, asset flip, not worth talking about. Gamasutra has an article. Tencent partners with the UK government's cultural and creative industries. This can't end well, almost certainly. If you want to talk about a restrictive government as far as culture and creative aspects, the UK is probably the most restrictive of the Western world governments, and Tencent is basically the Chinese government, so like censorship for all is pretty much what I guess. Let's see. How do they spin it? They're just saying they're going to work with each other on video games, film, and television. I assume what this is inherently trying to do is Tencent has bought influence, and the Chinese government has bought influence over the BBC, the British Broadcast Corporation, which is controlled by the government, sort of. Tencent plans on releasing UK versions of QQ Speed, a massively popular 3D mobile racing game, complete with full localization. The UK versions will feature cultural elements including new game characters, backgrounds, music, and characters and costumes. In addition, Tencent's esports arms will work with the University of Oxford to create courses and run tournaments that will grow the esports industry in the UK. And that is complete and total insanity. If you're going to a college, you should not be going to a college for esports. That is ridiculous. But also not what I fully fear is happening. Like, my tinfoil hat is this is going to be a full-on China influencing the BBC and the UK government, and in the end it was they're releasing one game and working with Oxford so far. Maybe this is probably step 1 of a multi-step plan. Let's see. PC Gamer talks about Tiny Bubbles, the game I've already looked at. So I'm already going to wishlist that game, so I don't need to talk about that. Let's see. Don't need to talk about that. Bethesda 2 reacted to a Rage 2 leak with the quote, "This is why we can't have nice things," and they took a screenshot and put incorrect key art because it's just a black background, wrong font, not all caps, frowny face, missing age rating, and then they give it a anarchy symbol on there on the side. So this might be a way in which Bethesda is just being silly and they realize that it's totally wrong, or this might be a viral marketing campaign that people are falling for. Next game we have on Steam is called Illusion. It's an adventure indie female protagonist comedy. Let's see, it's from a developer who hasn't released anything else. It's $4.99. And I want to play this game, but the graphics do look horrible. It seems like it's mostly visual novel style up close with some RPG Maker type walking around elements that maybe is half of the gameplay, maybe not even that much. Has an all-time peak of 1 person. I'm gonna wishlist this game, but it is way too expensive. There's a warning here. Before you play this game, this is not intended for anyone at the age of 12 or below and may contain sensitive subjects to certain people. So it is, I guess, going to attempt to address some sensitive topics. Let's keep on playing. The next part is, and it, not to mention it contains a shitty humor which not everyone will be able to tolerate. So don't play this game if you can't stand strong, mature humor. Okay. So I think I can tolerate that, so I'm going to check it out, wishlist it, see if it goes on sale. Probably will never get around to actually playing the game. Gamma Sutra has an article. Blind Squirrel Games lays off staff due to financial woes. Update. Blind Squirrel Games has provided statements following the layoffs. Unfortunately, due to the unexpected cancellation of an unannounced project, Blind Squirrel Games laid off 13 staff members today, less than 10% of our workforce. They're known. Blind Squirrel Games is known for developing HD remasters of games like BioShock and Borderlands. They've laid off an undisclosed number of staff today. What was the HD remaster of Borderlands? Did they release on a console? I did not play that, right? I got that's like there's no HD remake on PC. So games. The XCOM 2, Sims, BioShock, Disney Infinity, probably we already knew that was cancelled. BioShock Infinite, Borderlands 2. Ooh, the Glassdoor review has one rating from December 13th, 2012. If you're looking for the worst job of your life, work there. Let's see. Wow. That's crazy that the Glassdoor ratings are so low. And that they are higher than the Wikipedia list of Blind Squirrel games. Let's see, apparently they're not even interesting enough to have a Wikipedia page. That's crazy. Even when I search Blind Squirrel Games Wikipedia, nothing is coming up. The BioShock collection comes up. Like, seriously. I seriously don't have time to be looking at their reviews, but apparently there's 2 Blind Squirrel games also. Let's see. Reviews. Says it's a 3.6 out of 5. Interesting. Well then what's that other review? Well, whatever. I have no time for this. No time whatsoever. Like, some interesting news has happened and I'm so far behind that I can't even look it up. Alright. Okay, here's the 1-star review. So there's 30 reviews and the number one. So this is like a really irate person. You know, I've never thought about it. I should go back and like negatively review every single bad job I've ever worked at. Like, I don't see a real reason to do that. It seems like that would be just burning bridges, but might be cathartic too. Adapt a friendly beast. Come on. Let's hit this one. And then the turn. Next game we have is called Momoiro Closet. That's M-O-M-O-I-R-O Closet. Let's make sure this is in English. Yes, English and Japanese. Visual novel. Sexual content, nudity, adventure, casual, and cute. Cute's not a tag you see very often on Steam games. Yep, it's a romance dating simulator type game from a developer who has released quite a few of them, and most of them are highly rated. So this is, if that's your thing, I believe this is probably a good one to check out. It's 10% off for $26.99. Obviously, good things are more expensive. Apparently it was kickstarted. Let's play one more game if we can finish up between this. There's 7 positive reviews. No negative reviews. One thing I would say about these romance dating games and the way the Japanese do it, it is way better than other countries try, because they really understand that you want to have one of different hair colors, one of different hair styles, one of different body types, so that somebody can find some pick between the 5 to 8 girls that you might be dating as their personal visual idea of perfection. A lot of the Western games, it's always large-breasted, blonde, long-haired, blue-eyed girls, and you have like 5 of them, and they're barely any difference. Looks like this game is also built around cosplay, so there's going to be a major theme around that, and that makes sense, certainly, for a game called Memorial Closet. Let's go ahead and play that. And wait and end the turn. The Kickstarter for Myst 25th edition updated. They do have now the license to release all of the Mac versions, and so the Mac versions will probably be only digital digital versions of the Mac games. Frankly, I don't think you're gonna have the best experience playing any games on a Macintosh, but whatever. If that's all you got, at least there's a chance. That they have several caveats. First, the Myst Masterpiece Edition is giving us trouble. We're working on it, but we're not sure about it. We'll be converting the original Myst to fill the hole. I just heard that Macintoshes nowadays will warn people that 32-bit versions of games are not optimized for the new iOS versions, I guess, on Macintosh computers, and just for no real reason. So, like you're playing an old 32-bit game, and it'll just go, "This game's not optimized," and just to irritate people. Let's keep going. Trying to wrap up here. Still got Treyarch. According to PC Gamer, Treyarch confirms Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Zombies with a cryptic tweet. I don't know what a cryptic tweet would be, but I'm willing to find out if anybody's got any ideas. The full Call of Duty Black Ops 4 reveal will take place May 17th. So we'll see more of that, I'm sure. Dragon Ball FighterZ update set to add co-op and monthly competition. So if you're still playing Dragon Ball FighterZ, look forward to that. That's from TechRaptor. TechRaptor really only getting about one article out a day. So maybe that's a good thing, though, because that means they're picking and choosing and making some actual editorial decisions on what's important to talk about and what isn't. Whereas PC Gamer's just always shoving out as many articles as possible. Next game we have on Steam is called AO International Tennis. It's from a developer who's made a bunch of games, but not too many of them are positive. It's about half positive, half mixed, and they look like they're all British style sports games, rugby, cricket. It says it's just a sports game. Has an all-time peak of 57 players. It's $49.99 with no discount, and it's overall mixed. The first review says, "Look forward to this game as a really good tennis game. Has never been released on PC. The development team looked professional, put a lot of work into this. The concept ideas are great. Gameplay itself is god-awful. Movement of your player is the worst in any tennis game I've ever played. It's so slow, sluggish, and you can't play the game properly. The aim circle is the worst mechanic of the part. Maybe put some more effort into the gameplay itself rather than features, and you might have a winner. Features can be added later. Gameplay is everything, and for the price tag of this game, I expect much better. For that reason alone, I can't recommend it." Again, I would have to say, if you want to play tennis, get a used Wii and play Wii Sports. Great example of a good tennis game there. Let's hit this and hit that. Hit that and end the turn. So we can close that tab. PC Gamer has an article. Hearthstone team considering nerfing Q-Block, Quest, Rogue, and Paladin once HCT playoffs are over. This was from 2 days ago. Blizzard will only make balance changes after the summer playoffs wrapped up at the end of May. I think we should hope that they make some tweaks, but I don't even think that that really is the problem with Hearthstone anymore. I think the problem with Hearthstone is too many cards, not enough interest in getting those cards, playing those cards, too many daily quests that are way too hard and way too long. This is the first instance, probably in at least 3 or 4 months, where I've actually stayed on playing Hearthstone over the daily quests for any amount of time whatsoever, and that's simply because I have so much news. Gematsu has the Harvest Moon Light of Hope Special Edition official trailer. Let's see, when is this coming out and for what? It's PS4 and Switch on May 29th in North America and June 22nd in Europe. I don't think these are actually good Harvest Moon games though, so take that, I suppose, for what it's worth. Let's see, there's a game called Egg Timer 2 from a developer who's made Egg Time 1 and 2 other games. It says it's an action casual simulation sport game, and it kind of looks like it's some kind of weird surrealist game. Or it's a VR game where you just do a bunch of mini games, including collecting eggs. Yeah, it's a VR game. It's 15% off for $5.94. Let's see. There's 2 positive reviews that are suspicious. Yeah, I don't see anything here in Egg Time 2 as a VR game. Oops, I wish I could have undone that. Next game we have is called The President, and I'm not sure this is a real game. It's $7.99. It says it's a strategy indie simulation, but really what it is it's a text-based game. We haven't seen a lot of these in a long time, where people would put out just full-on text-based games with almost no graphics or no graphics, and then they'd try and trick people into buying them. There was certainly somebody like that was doing that for a long time. Yeah, this isn't a fake game. It's not attacking Donald Trump or anybody. It's a fictional president of a Republic of Dora. So it's not even the United States. The first review is this game is not worth $8. Not recommended. And then there's one positive review that goes really, really long, and I suspect is a fake review. Yep. So I'm going to close The President because it's not anything. Next game we have is called Linear Chicken. Still playing Hearthstone, still going through news. We're almost done. Well, there's a handful of games that are reviewed highly by this developer, but I still think that Linear Chicken is probably just not anything worth mentioning. It does look pretty. If it is a mobile game, it is a good quality looking mobile game. It looks kind of like a mobile game. Seems like it's an interesting camera angle for what looks like a platformer. 6 achievements, $2.99, no discounts. Seems like it's a puzzle game of some sort. No reviews. I think I'm gonna wishlist Linear Chicken just to see if anybody does anything. See if it gets some reviews and somebody might be willing to give it the thumbs up. Let's see. Next game is from a developer who's made several games, but none of them have any reviews. Let's go ahead and attack first. Next game is called Defendion, Defendion. Seems like you play as a orc of some sort. Early access casual indie strategy. Yeah, this looks like a lot of flipped assets of orcs, and I don't know why flipped assets of orcs always look so bad, but they certainly do. And it's a tower defense game. With some shifting perspectives. Yeah, this looks horrible. And it's a VR game. 17% off for $5.80. Like, the intro trailer almost caught my attention. But once you got past what looked like some pre-rendered stuff at the very beginning, you realize it's not quality. Let's do this. Moving on. Is this a Chinese only game? No, it's an English only game called Oma wa Mao Shinderu. I don't know if this is Japanese or what. It doesn't seem quite right. It says it's an indie casual game. It looks to me like it is just a... Yeah, I think I probably just said something really, really offensive in Japanese. I think this is a meme game. Yeah, all the other games are at best rated neutral from this developer. This game doesn't look interesting. It's 35% off for $1.49.94. Let's see. A lot of negative reviews. 2 negative reviews to 3 positive reviews. Yeah, this is garbage. Garbage game. No more needs to be said about it. Let's just move forward. Keep on moving. Keep on moving. We're almost done. Next game we have is called Arc Slinger. It's from Big Red Button Entertainment. It's a VR game, 25% off for $13.40. I really probably should speak this fast all the time. All-time high of 2 people playing. No reviews. Arc Slinger, in its graphics, actually doesn't look too bad. But like, I've seen a lot worse VR games, and this thing feels like a finely polished game. But it's VR, so I'm not at the point where I'd put any VR game into my wish list, because by the time I do get a VR console, if I ever get one, these games will be so old it won't matter. I'm still keeping an eye on for the Grimworld open beta. It is now rated mostly positive, 76 of 47 users. So that, I suppose, was what I was holding out for, is to see if this game actually is worth playing. It's free, so I'm going to wishlist it and wait till it comes out of beta. Apparently it has a lot of potential with mostly positive reviews. Hit, let's see, this, and then this. Just give it a taunt and attack. Next game we have is called Boxes Inc. It's the only game from this developer, 10% off for $8.09. It says it's a simulation strategy RPG puzzle single player. It seems to me like it's probably some kind of VR box stacking game. Again, just doing a job. There is actually a game on Steam where you play as a box, which is kind of interesting, but it's not this. I don't know what the name of that game is. Suspicious 10 positive reviews to 1 negative review, and the negative review apparently is not even in my language. But when I look at this game, which apparently doesn't need VR or even support VR, I don't get it. Let's go and hit this. Well, VR game or not, this is an annoying looking job-like game, and I don't want to work a fake job that doesn't pay me. If I'm already a YouTuber, I already have one fake job that doesn't pay me. I don't need another. Next game we have is called Pixel Stories of Dungeon. Apparently, it's the only game from this developer, although they have a demo. $9.99. It says it's an action indie RPG pixel graphics, which means it just looks like garbage, and it doesn't have anything that interests me visually at all. Or probably anybody else. Well, let's see. There's 3 positive reviews, with no negative ones, and until I see a negative review, I don't trust any of the positives. Let's just keep on playing. So we'll close that tab. We already talked about the Switch's online features, online player. Let's see, save data cloud backup. Apparently you also will get special offers. Family membership for 12 months is $34.99. So the Gamasutra article was a lot better. No, the Gamatsu article was a lot better on the Switch Online Services features, but you really don't need all that information. Let's see. The mobile game Popolo Crois, Narcia's Tears, and the Fairy's Flute are now available on iOS and Android in Japan. I doubt they'll come to the West. See, I think I just have a couple things to... The Curling World Cup is on Steam. It's, I believe... Well, it's from a developer who hasn't put out anything that's ever gotten higher than mixed. So you can pretty much ignore it. I would love a simulator curling game, VR and not VR, This one seems to be not VR for $6.99, but I just don't trust that the quality is going to be good. Like the first review says, not recommended. This is much worse than watching people actually curl. The controls are terrible. Looping music never changes. The next review is just no, 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 no. This is just awful. Yep, that's what I figured was going to be the case. And I am at the Humble Bundles. And I believe right now the War Games bundle is the most recent one, full of a bunch of war games that I probably would never play. And let's see, what is my Twitch channel up to? Well, The Walking Dead episode 6, or no, The Walking Dead, yeah, number 6, episode 6 of episode 2 of The Walking Dead. Yeah, that's confusing as all get out. And Tales from the Borderland. So for people who are finding my Twitch stream, you can be watching some of those videos. And oddly, I think a few of the videos have gotten views. So a few people randomly have found it. Just search Rydo of all, R-Y-D-O space O-F-A-L-L. You should be able to find my Twitch channel, subscribe to that and everything. Right now that's just a backup, but who knows in the future what will happen as I'm still in the process. By the way, with the new Easter colors, this background has changed. And let's see, I'm on my Twitch feed, not Twitch feed, Twitter feed. Let's scroll down really quickly and see if there's any bit of news that absolutely has to be talked about right now. Otherwise we'll talk about it on Friday, and then we'll be done. Only nearly 2 hours and 15 minutes into this last recording. I should have broken it up. Of course, there are some new games that we'll talk about on Friday. Let's see. PC Gamer says the average Steam review is 30 words long and at an 8th grade reading level. And that is just interesting facts from a new study. That's pretty good. Like that tells us that there's no 7th grade reading level people writing reviews. I suppose you'd have a little bit of a bias. The Neo Geo Mini has been announced. It does not look good. It's a little toy. It's not something you'd really want to play Neo Geo games on. A lot of PC Gamer talking about Atomic Heart reposting and repushing the same article over and over again. Jesper the End. Oh, I didn't mention him. He was a YouTuber. He hasn't done too much on YouTube in a long time, but he has a new game called Tix Tax, which is like an ultimate tic-tac-toe. That's T-I-X-T-A-X. He was a Minecraft YouTuber from the old days, and he has released a game on Steam before, so this is his second one. Not anything super interesting there. Susan Wojcicki is retweeting and talking to somebody famous, I believe, promoting some of that YouTube Red, take the U out of YouTube already. Garbage. I might as well. Switch adjustable charging stand announced. Interesting. I imagine that's a good move for them. They needed a different kind of stand than what they were using because it was scratching screens. I imagine they'll get rid of the old mount. Agony has a new story trailer. That'll be interesting. Of course, that game is too hyped already. Risk of Rain 2 apparently is coming out. Has a new gameplay trailer. There's a Fallout chessboard set available from ThinkGeek. Scrolling down still. I was hoping there wouldn't have been too many of these new tweets, but I knew it was going to happen. Team YouTube is still retweeting and promoting Creators for Change, and basically anybody who's a person of color or a minority in any sense. I don't know, when you think about it though, what YouTube's, well, I don't think YouTube knows what they're trying to do, because are they trying to have famous people be in charge and make all the money on YouTube, or are they trying to have minorities and underprivileged people be in charge and make all the money at YouTube? Because they're trying to do both, and you really can't have them both happen. Like every promotion of one group or one creator even is a lack of promotion for the others, and there's only so many eyeballs you can have on a video, so many views. There's only so many people in the world using YouTube, and only so many hours in a day. I heard a funny story of just several people talking about how they had left YouTube autoplay on, and in less than a couple of days of forgetting about it, they had gone from a perfectly acceptable family-friendly video to the most horrific Elsa Gate type content, the bad actor content on YouTube. So the algorithm, regardless of what you're watching whatsoever, if you just leave autoplay on, apparently pushes you to the bad content, regardless of who you are or what you've watched in the past. Okay, 6 hours ago, Strider episode 21 aired on my channel. Let's see. I don't know how much further I need to scroll down. Probably don't need to scroll down any more, actually. Let's just see if we got the tweet out and the announcement. I'm not even sure I got a notification today. I'm not sure I'm getting notifications at all. Seems like you have to click the bell, then go click the bell again a week later, then go click the bell again a week later, and then go click the bell again. 7 hours ago, Bionic Commando episode 26 aired. And have I really been streaming for 8 hours? It doesn't feel like it's been 8 hours. I guess I have to applaud Hearthstone today. They did not have me bang my head against the wall playing the game. Instead, I banged my head against the wall trying to get all of the news done. And I think we did. I have so many games right now that are open and ready to be wishlisted. We went for a week where it felt like nothing was worth mentioning at all to a week where there's quite a lot worth mentioning. Let's see. Maybe I should mute Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, and not listen to her. She might be the next target on people to mute, because seems like now I'm getting more comments by her than I ever saw. They're adding a digital well-being to YouTube and Google and Android in general, where it's going to say, maybe it's time to take a break, go out and walk outside. Interesting enough, I suppose. Apparently, Adam Sessler is going to be on a podcast. It's interesting, I suppose, to hear what he's up to now that his failed promotion of the Friday the 13th game, it has come and gone. I don't think it really is his fault for promoting it poorly. I think the game was just a failure. But also, I'm not 100% sure he had the skills to be doing the job that he was doing to promote the game. And going from a critic to a promoter is not an obvious and easy move. Still scrolling down. I need some music, background music. Scrolling down music. I'm not seeing anything here, including notification that the stream even started. Wow, maybe it didn't start. Maybe I've just been, well, I know I've been streaming. People have been talking to me on the chat. Well, I can't scroll down any further, and I did not see a notification at all of the stream starting. So I think YouTube screwed me over again, as it tries to screw over everybody. Well, that's it for this recording and live stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. When you subscribe, click the notification bell. Maybe it will work for you. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, gift me a game or a gift card on Steam. Right now, I would very much appreciate any season I don't have of Pinball Arcade Pro Pack, because those pinball tables are going away on June 30th. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Bye.